All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone out there. I'm Andrew Barnes, and we're here for another weekly edition of Live Coding Happy Hour. All right, let's mute myself over there. Very good. We've got some new faces today. We are going to do some live coding. It's completely unscripted. It's brought to you by ServiceNow's developer program, developer.servicenow.com. Let's go ahead and get some introductions going. Earl, would you like to go first?
Hi, everybody. I'm Earl Duque. I'm the lead developer and system administrator at University of California, Davis campus.
Excited awesome. How long have you been on the platform, Earl?
I've only been on the platform for less than 2 years, but I've probably jumped around positions within ServiceNow maybe double that amount of times.
All right. MGOP, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Maria Gabriela Ochoa Perez. I go as MGOP. I am a ServiceNow developer, and I've been on the platform for about 1.5 years.
Awesome. So today we've got a West Coaster with us who isn't able to partake in the beverages, but as is our normal event here, we are going to have a little fun. We're going to do some live coding. We're going to do a little drinking. Some of us will do it in spirit, if not in actuality. So in the same order, let's introduce what we're drinking today.
Starting with me or for you? You introduced yourself.
You, same order. Oh, right. I didn't introduce myself. Yeah. So there's a lot of buttons to press today. So I'm Andrew Barnes. I'm with ServiceNow. This is, this is the first time I'm running this show completely by myself without a Dave or Josh back up here. So it's exciting. I've been on the ServiceNow platform for about 4 years. I just recently started in this role as a developer advocate at ServiceNow. It's really quite exciting. And developer.servicenow.com. It's a good place to go. Get your personal developer instance, go through our learning training plans. And now we'll get into the introductions of the libations.
All right, so I'm on West Coast time, so I'm the punk that can't be drinking right now because I'm still at work, actually. So I actually am drinking a Fanta, orange Fanta.
Orange Fanta.
Now, awesome. If I can just remember how to open it.
Don't you wanna Fanta?
And MGOP, what do you have lovely today?
I am drinking a wheat ale called Son of a Peach.
Son of a Peach.
Son of a Peach.
That's too fun. And so in the spirit of my travels to London tomorrow for the Now Forum London, I am having an Old Speckled Hen, which is a fine English ale. And I'm pretty excited about. I didn't realize I had that, and I saw it in my fridge, and I was like, "That's the beer for today."
Perfect. On theme, on point.
It's on theme. So speaking of the Now Forum, there's quite a few of them going on around the world. My normal co-host Dave is. Where is he right now? So he was in Sydney earlier in the week at the Now Forum there. Mm-hmm. Then he went to Auckland to do Developer Days workshops. And I believe right this very moment, he's on his way to India for a developer meetup there en route to meet me in London on Sunday, where we'll do the Now Forum and the CreatorCon sessions prior to that on Wednesday, as well as the developer meetup that night in London, and then the Now Forum on Thursday, the whole day there. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let's talk about what problem we're going to solve today, because that's what we came here for, is to solve problems. We're developers. We like to solve users' problems and make their lives easier. And I've had this nagging sort of, I really should fix this at some point problem that I just never got around to fixing. And I was teaching a workshop last week in Raleigh, North Carolina, and one of the users there asks, hey, so have you ever thought about automating the follow button? So if you're not familiar, the connect interface in ServiceNow, and we'll walk through it a little bit in a moment, allows you to follow records. And then when those records are updated, it'll give you an indicator right inside the platform, which is pretty great. I like the noises. That's pretty funny. So they asked me that, and then someone in our Slack channel asked me the same thing within a couple of days, and I was like, all right, let's move this up the priority list and let's actually solve this problem and do it live on the stream here. So that's what we're going to solve today. Is we're going to, if a user wants to, automatically follow any task that they're assigned to. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to sharing my desktop as soon as I find the button for it. Main screen, share. Let me know how that looks. Is that looking all right?
Looking good on my side.
All right. And I'll probably have to log in there.
Anybody in chat
I'm
now?
going to turn off video and then get logged into this instance. Here we go. And MGOP, if you could turn off your video too, that'll give me a little real estate as well. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So what I was talking about was if you're on for example, an incident. So we'll go down here to an open incident. And so I selected one of these incidents. And up here at the top, we've got this follow. And it even gives us a little handy information. You'll be notified of any new comments or work notes according to your notification settings. So let us go ahead and grab another window for that same instance. And I'm going to impersonate another user and show everyone what this looks like. I should have gotten one of you guys set up to do this ahead of time, but I'm not. This is live code happy
live
hour.
coding happy hour.
If we were prepared, we'd be doing it wrong.
We're doing this live.
I think that's the new motto of this show, right?
All right. Let's, I don't believe Abraham has any roles. I shouldn't choose him. Let's get Abel. Abel Tudo. All right. And I'm going to grab the same record. And then I'm going to put a work note in here. Hello there, sysadmin. So what is going to happen is I can see the sysadmin is on this record. And I want to let him know that I'm here as well. And I want to help. I am here to help. And I'm going to put it in a work note, and he's going to see it hopefully immediately. I'm in fact going to navigate away from that record and now post it. So I just got a little audio notification, which is configurable. And you'll notice there was a 1 up here before, and now there is sneakily enough a 2.
It looks like they can't see that.
Yeah, a lot of people are only seeing the top left of your screen. So
all right, that is true. Look at that. Let me fix that. 1 second.
Thanks, Paige and Jared, for noticing that.
That should be.
At first, I thought Paige was talking about my face in the YouTube chat, but then they started posting screenshots in Slack, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not me. Thank goodness.
Almost got it ready. Sorry about this, folks. I'll get that adjusted. Here we are.
You should be. How dare you? I know it's live, but.
And just a little bit more slide.
We do more than just ServiceNow debugging on this show.
All right, that should be adjusted. How's it look for you guys? All right, that's looking better. It's not quite perfect, but it's close.
We can see the main window.
All right. So up here in the top right, as I was saying, there was an indicator. Previously, you couldn't see it, but it was a 1, and now it's a 2. So this tells me that this record has been updated since the last time that I looked at this record. I can open it up and see the note Abel put in there for me.
It even looks like it has that little banner that shows that it's a newer message, isn't it?
So the yellow is that it's a work note.
Oh, I see.
So a customer comment would be different color.
It'd be like gray, right?
Pissed. So I'm going to post one as the other user, and you'll see that there's no coloration for there. And you'll note when I'm about to put a work note on here that I also, unless that's cut off your screen too, there's a yellow next to work note, but if I change this to comment, that goes away as well. So it's just a little indicator that you're speaking in the work note versus the customer comments.
Some nice discretion.
So this is the Connect Chat interface for a record. And I am able to follow that record. I'm also able to unfollow it if I'm already following it. And you see that it disappeared from my Connect interface. So I'm going to follow this record because this is important to me. And as we said, Troy here might want to automatically follow records. But right now, unless someone knows something I don't, about this, there's no configuration to allow you to say, hey, I want to follow all of the things I'm assigned. So I end up just having to remember to click follow all the time. And well, I'm a developer and I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. I like to automate it. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to automatically follow the records when the assigned to changes. So let's talk about how we want to set that up, because there's obviously a couple of different ways we could go about doing this. The first is going to be, where do we want to store this work? Do we want to use Flow Designer, or have we overused Flow Designer recently? Do we want to use a business rule? Do we want to fire off an event and then pick that up? There's a lot of different ways that we could do this. And what's y'all's thoughts on how we should go about tackling this problem? That was me taking a drink, and that's what you guys get to.
Not gonna lie, I got distracted by doggy emojis on Twitch. I'm the worst.
Well, the first inclination was we want to make it something that the user can set easily. So it either would want to be thrown into user preferences or into a form that's within self-service, or just any place that it's easy to access, right?
Yeah, so that's me being able to decide if I want to do it or not. I was talking about the meats of the engine, how are we going to go about attacking this problem? I've used Flow Designer a lot recently, and I was trying to decide, should we put the guts of our automation in a Flow Designer or business rule, or how do we want to store,
Let's do Flow Designer.
All right, well, let's do Flow Designer. I'm not sure we can do everything we want to in there, but let's try it out. Let's give it a whirl.
Building, are we going to get to build new actions with this one?
Gosh, I hope we don't need a new action. I hope everything that we need to do for this should just be, normal record interactions. Create a record, update a record. Actually, can Flow Designer create a record? I haven't tried that. I think you can.
Yeah, you can.
All right, let's create a new flow. So our flow name is going to be, auto follow a task record. All right. And you should probably put in a better description than I did. But that's not how I roll today. So let's create our trigger. So I think I described the scenario that I wanted to do, which was on being assigned to something. So on a record created or updated, we can go ahead and target all of task. I'm not sure if this is the greatest idea in the world, but that's what we're going to start with. We could have narrowed it down to just incident, but I'm feeling generous with task today. Let's do task.
Easier to move it to more specific than make it specific and then move it back to general.
That's true. All right, so we picked our table. And as you see over here, if you're not as familiar with Flow Designer, I know we've covered it several times, but as I'm building out this trigger, the data pills for that trigger are starting to populate over here. And those are the things that we're going to use in the rest of our flow. So we said our condition was that assigned to is changing and assigned to is not empty, because that seems reasonable. So if assigned to is populated and assigned to is changing, and I'm going to want to run this always. So you've got two choices here. You could run it once, you could run it always. If you wanted to have something that, just the first time it met a condition, you would, execute a flow. That's when once is handy, but a task record may get handed off to 3 different people before it gets solved. We obviously want to minimize those, but we don't want to make it difficult for that second or third person to follow the record. So we're going to say always. So that's what other triggers do we need?
If you need to do it for whenever a comment or a work note gets posted.
No, so I'm going to automatically. So the goal of this is to follow the task record when I get assigned to it.
That's the symptom of it. Never mind. Okay, I think you're good then. You're going to identify who the person is in the actual action. So
absolutely. So that's our trigger: is a task record gets assigned to someone, right? So that on my whiteboard is what I had, was task record assigned to someone. And the someone means it's changing and it's not empty. Because empty would be not someone. Hope there's no one named empty. So what we want to do now is, well, the first thing is I'm not super familiar with all of the tables that drive this interaction. I've looked at them before, but I don't remember them all. So let's go find which tables, what's happening under the hood when I click that follow button. So the first thing we might want to check is, hey, that kind of looks like a UI action. Is it? I believe I already know the answer to that, which it's not.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen the following button inside of the UI action list.
But there is a similar button. So this is not that same button. This is for the live feed. But funny enough, it is actually a very similar process to follow the live feed as it is to follow via Connect. So here's a condition. Can you follow it? And here is ServiceNow provided API to follow a live feed. I do not believe that there is an equivalent that I have easy access to what the function is to do this. And if it did, we'd throw that in our flow and then go about our business, and we'd be done for the day.
Well, that wraps it up, folks.
That wraps it up.
Thank you guys so much.
But I don't believe that there is an equivalent. And if there is, I don't know how to get to it. So we're going to have to build it ourselves. So let's go ahead and have Abel here follow this record so that we can tell when that happened. And don't stop the stream from the other computer. Very good. All right. So let's go take a look at the table of tables. Because I want to go find where this is stored, and I'm pretty sure that it is got the word live in it.
Oh, that's a big jump.
I seem to recall that it's like this will give me what the top level is. I think it's close to this one. So let's go take a look. Well, actually, I just needed the table name. So if you're not familiar in the navigator, you can throw a table name in there and then do a capital list, and you get that list view open up in a new tab. And if we updated and sort this by updated and see if it just happened. Oh, look.
Nice.
There are 2 that just happened. That seems sneakily close to what I need. Let's open one of these up. All right, so system administrator, group, they are subscribed to this via, I got the audio. So this seems like the kind of record that I need to have. This group also needs to exist. So this is going to be the live group profile. So the first time, I believe that the first time someone follows one of these records, this is created. So this is particular to this incident. So this live group is just that one incident. So it's not on the screen here, but I suspect that when I inspect this record, it's going to have a document ID. That's my guess. Anyone want to take bets?
50 on black.
It's associating it somehow, so it needs it.
All right, look, there we are.
There it is.
We have a document ID, and let's go see if this is our incident document ID.
It doesn't even need the table name at that point, right?
It probably does, because it's unless it's just using task level. So I'm going to open up that incident, and I put the sysid in the. Oh, look at that. They are the same. Ends in 71C1. Look at that. All right. So that's how these are. So this group is created, this live group profile for that incident. And then down here, this live group members is how users follow that particular group. So these are the records that we're going to need to create and or check to see if they need to be created in order to replicate that functionality.
We hope
that exactly. Like this is live code. No, none of this was worked out ahead of time, and I could be extremely wrong, and that's okay. I was just having a conversation today about how deep and technical documentation is, and my sort of answer was, well, I mean, if I'm going into the guts and really tearing things apart, I'll figure it out. Because you probably are not going to need this to know how this is created and stored for the most part. So let's start building it. So we've got our flow now. So the first thing we want to do is look up to see if they're already subscribed. That seems reasonable, right?
Yeah.
So let's look up a record. Look up any record on what's this handy table name. So we wanted to see if they are a member of that group, but we need to know what the group is first, right?
Right.
So let's look up the group first and see if that exists. So live group profile. Live group profile. So we're going to look up table, live group profile, we're going to look up the document ID is, and this is where those data pills really come in handy, right? So I'm just going to come over here and say, hey, our task record, boop, plop it right in there. So the document ID is this, and those should be unique. There should only be one live group profile unless it was designed really strangely for a given record. You should only have one. And we want to return the first one. Right? Done. Now what? So if it exists, I want to do something. And if it doesn't exist, I want to do something different. Right?
Right.
That sounds an awful like flow logic. So if this record exists at all, can I just drop it in there and say, is anything like that this record exists at all?
I know how to do that in a script, but if you're grabbing the whole record,
Let's see. We could maybe grab a piece of it and see if document ID is the same thing as our sys ID off of the task record.
Smart.
It did actually add it. It took it a second, but I want to actually just go ahead and grab the sys ID directly. So trigger, record, and then sys ID, which is the unique identifier for that record. So we did a lookup for, is the record, is there a record with this document ID? And now we're doing a almost silly check of, does that, did I get something back? I wonder if there's some way to like get an output from this action, like a true false almost. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
look up record and give me an output of false if there isn't one
within Flow Designer.
Yeah, like that would be cool, right?
Yeah, it would.
Like if I look up a record, I'm gonna want to know if there isn't one.
Now, is there a kind of a row count feature inside Flow Designer?
There is a row counter if you're doing well, I don't know if there's a counter, but it certainly knows how many there are if you do the lookup records action versus lookup record. But this should just return one record because that's the action that we chose, because there's a separate action for records. So look up record and records.
Got it.
Hey, actually it doesn't see. Yeah, it doesn't say. Like, it would be really cool if it told me. Yeah, so this says it outputs a list of the record and the number of records. But this one could really use a output of the number of the records as well.
Or just the true or false, like you said.
Well, I mean, that would be the same thing, right? The number of the records and true or false would be 0, 1 either way.
That's true. It would evaluate to the same thing.
Is my record there? All right. So if the record is there, yay. Then we're going to check to see if the user is subscribed to that, essentially, right? So we're going to do an action. We're going to do a lookup record. And this table is going to be, what was the name of this table?
Group member?
Live group member. Very sneaky names the developers at ServiceNow use. Live group member. And all right. Sorry, I thought I turned those off. And now I will get more of those. That's bad. I should probably turn that off. All right, here we go. I got distracted. What am I looking up now?
You're looking up if the person's in that has a group member record.
Is it called member? Look at that. Member is the assignee on task. Come on. Come on, little cannonball. You can do it. Record. Assignee. All right. So the task records assigned to member is bam. And gosh, this really makes me almost want to use the lookup records just so I get that 01 back. Because now I'm going to have to do another check. That makes me sad. I don't want to do this. Don't make me.
Nested ifs.
Check if it is there. That is a terrible description. I need a better label. Check if member of live group. All right. So we've got the lookup record, and we've got the record member is a reference field, and we want to check to see if it's the one that we sent to. This is starting to feel silly, and someone is going to see this and tell me how to do it better at some point, because I'm feeling a little silly at this point with 2 checks. Come on.
Right now, actually, all the suggestions from chat are talking about memes and emojis, so don't worry about it.
All right. Good.
We are the best chat moderators, keeping all good content out by the sheer volume of emoji.
Excellent, excellent. So if they're a member, then do nothing, right? So only if we fail do we care, right?
Right.
Because we're just done at that point. So let us add an action to our else that says we want to create a record now, right? So we're going to create record. We're going to create it on the live group member. Live group member. And what do we need? What's essential here? Like, we only want the essentials. We don't want to be here all day making this record. So we need to put the member in there. We need to put the group in there. And then we hope the rest of this stuff is pretty default. That's what I'm going to go with for now.
Do it live.
Do it live. All right. So we're going to put the member in there. And so we want still back up here to, I want a fast way to get that assigned to. I need to be able to pin a data pill.
You can't do the drop down menu on your right side nav?
Oh, you can. I just like this one because it allows me to use search. And I like searches because the task record gets kind of long, or it can. So member and group. So this is where we can actually go grab a useful record. So this is the groups record, and we've got our member. And gosh, I hope I don't need much more than that. I hope the default is pretty close to just needing those. So this is if the live profile exists for that record, go ahead and create the membership for this user if they didn't already. Then the other branch is go ahead and create both the group and the member. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do that then. This was...
Luckily, it doesn't sound like you need any more logic either after this else statement, because it's all...
This is just an else, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can go ahead and start making them.
And create record. And we want the live group profile. And we're going to need to set some fields here for sure. Document ID is definitely super important here. I probably don't need to go ahead and drill down to the sysid, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's explicitly what I want there is this sysid. And let's see what else is important on this record. And we'll let Zoom get that out of our way. So the group profile, there is not a lot on these records. That's great. I'm a big fan. Just enough stuff, right? Last activity, we're not setting that. We're not document group. That looks like maybe it might be important. And that looks about table. So table and document
it does
group
have table.
Are looking like they're the important things. So table, and so we're not going to grab this table. We're actually going to grab it from our record. Does that make sense? So it looks like, hey, this wants a table. I've got a table data pill. Go ahead and grab that. Why wouldn't I do that? MGOP, what do you got there? No, nothing. How about you, Earl?
Unmute yourself. Is task table relating to just the trigger of the flow designer itself, or is it relating to the actual task record?
Yeah, so if I want to get any task class specific item for some reason, I really need to reference the correct table, not just the task level.
Right, because
so I don't know what it would break by doing that.
We're on the extensions at this point.
Right. So I could put task in there, but it could also, cause accidents later, and we don't want that. So I'm going to get the actual task records class. So we want the task type. So on the task table, it's called task type. Is the
Sorry
table.
about that. I was on mute, but you took the words right in my mouth.
Exactly
now, what I was gonna say.
Now you might note it didn't actually populate anything there when I chose that. So that means that it doesn't think that that's a valid input for this.
No, it's looking like it's wanting to.
It wants me to pick from this choice list and not provide it something from, which happens to actually also be a choice list of that,
nice.
Are, being fed from the same thing. So it's going to be angry at me here. So I may actually have to either just choose task and live with the unintended fallout, or I may need to do a flow that's more explicit for each task type.
Yeah, that might be a little bit confusing for some users if they don't realize it's a choice, but still have access to the pill picker.
Yeah, and you could go awfully wrong if you didn't do that right. So I understand why they have said, "Hey, you need to pick it from this known list, and that's all you get, buddy." But I feel like I should be able to, use a table data pill type to drop in there. Like that would be, it seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it was document ID table. And then there was one other thing that was like set to true that I thought might be important.
It was, I think it was just profile or something like that, right?
It was something was document group.
Document group.
And that might be the default, but I'm going to go ahead and set it because
Ooh.
Type document. No. Let's see what the field name is for that field.
To the dictionary.
Yeah, to the dictionary we go. All right. So that was, what did we say it was? What was the name of it?
Document group.
Document group is document conversation. All right. Document conversation.
There it is.
Is true. So we've created our group. And this is where I think it would be really handy if you could copy
paste.
Yeah, I I've really asked for that a couple of times now. I want to be able to copy actions, but that's not a thing yet. So we'll do it again. We know how to do it though. We've solved this problem. This was live group member, and we're going to set the member to be, and I'm going to do this relatively quickly so I can get on to, seeing how badly we did this wrong. Group is going to be, so group now, I've created a new data pill, and now I need to use it. So this is the live group profile record. Bam. And I think that was about it. I'm ready to, I'm itching to run this thing.
Let's do it.
Let's run it. But let's see how our whiteboard feels like. I think our trigger's solid. We're going to look up a group profile if it exists. So if it gets one, then we're going to look up the group member. And if there is one, don't do anything. Go home. Else, create one. Then if they're, and we'll go that far. Like, we're going to invoke it on this record that already has one first.
Perfect.
So we're going to invoke it on this guy, and we're just going to, pass it a new. Troy isn't already subscribed to it, so what this should do when I test this out is subscribe Troy to that. And we had it open here, maybe. So we should see a third person here.
Right.
That's what victory looks like, right? You should always know what your expectation is, which is we get a third entry here, and it's for Troy. So I'm going to test this incident record. And all this test interface does is say, ignore my trigger. So that's what this says, is just ignore whatever my trigger was and do it on this record. So the flow's executed. It didn't yell at me. So our expectation was that it looked up the record, and that we expected to find it. So we expected to go down this branch, and we did. And we didn't. And so we ended up creating a live group and a member of it. So this will not show us that user, but we created a new live group profile, which was not really what we were going for.
Now Troy subscribed to his own profile.
Let's see. Live group profiles updated. So this one was created just now. What am I doing? There's an interface right here that shows me all this stuff. So it completed that. It said create a record. It created a record, which is this one. I should probably put a name in there. That seems reasonable. I can go back and do that. And then it put a user in that. Let's go ahead and open that up. Oh, nope. That's looking bad.
There you go.
No group, no member, except for there are things in there. So
and what happens when you try to open one of those?
Well, it'll be record not found.
I think something's there though.
So I put a sys-ID there. Well, this is the display value, so this one's actually fine. The member though is not quite right. So let's go make sure that this field type is actually pointing straight to a user. Ooh, wait. I'm dredging up. You have to create the live group. I believe the first time a user does this, you also need to set up the user. So I think this isn't pointing at the sys user table. That's my assumption.
Can you check the dictionary on it?
So I'm going to, but I like to know. I like to talk about what the goal is before I go and just look. So that's what my expectation is that's not the sys user table, but is instead the live profile table.
Oh, you're right.
So let's go take a look at types, go down to references, and look at that live profile. So we need to
forget that live profile is separated.
We need to create one of those suckers for a user the first time as well. I don't want to. That's another check.
Because you're going to have to do another if tree.
Oh, no. Well, this is now if I were to refactor it, which I don't have time to today, this is where I might just go ahead and either one, just set them up for everybody, because I don't know that there's any harm in having those profiles just set up. Or when we talked about setting a user preference for when you wanted to start doing this, and that would be my trigger to create that user a live profile versus them getting assigned to something. Because I don't want to have to put that inside my flow every time, is check to see if this user has a live profile or not. I don't want to put that in here. I think that's either it should be in a parent flow and this should be a subflow, or
that's
it
true.
should just be separate.
If you have it do it, that check once and then never think about it again.
So I'm going to say that we're going to pretend like we're going to set those up when they set their preference, which we didn't get around to setting a preference. But so this was Troy, right? Troy something. And as soon as we subscribe him to any of these, so we'll just subscribe him to this one, and that will set up his profile. So now his profile is set up, and we should be able to try at least that test again.
Do you think you'll need to get rid of the old live profiles and group members that you just created? Because it might find those if you run the test again.
Oh, I need to get his profile. So I do need to look up their profile anyway.
It's well,
I need to look up their profile, and if it's not there, make it.
Yeah, but you're assuming that we have refactored in the person already has the profile, so we can try to go from there.
That's true, but I also just need to I do need to look up their profile at the very least. Right. So I have to get their profile. So Lookup Record, I don't remember the name of it. Hopefully it's like live profile. Look at that. Live profile, and hopefully there's a what's the reference field here? Come on.
Is it name? I see name there.
That just seems wrong. Live. Let's go to it. Live profile. Oh, wow. Okay.
There's no reference, huh?
It is document ID and table. Because users and records can have live profiles and groups. So it's abstracted. So I'm going to need, so if we go to this list, what we'll find is that we have document IDs. Oh, look at that. It's loading so fast.
How's your 56K modem doing?
I mean, that's impressive. So
it's still going.
It's still going. That is zippy right there. So there's Troy. So we'll look up Troy real quick. So we're going to document ID. No, okay, I guess it's just called document. Yep. Document is, then we need Troy's assigned to. And I mean, the sysid is unique, but let's go ahead and be good stewards and go ahead and say the table is sysid or sysuser. Let's go validate that that's true first.
Yep. Look at you doing your due diligence.
Just because I expect it. Oh, look at that. It's sysuser.
Do you think it needs the type
glad
also?
It is, but
do you think it needs the type also?
No. I mean, that's enough to find the right record. So I need to move this up one. Go up one. Right here. All right. Live profile record. And now I can use that to set both of these, right? So here in this live group member, the member instead of the assigned to is going to be from step 1 here, this live profile record. And then down here, instead of assigned to, it's going to be this live profile record.
Now, earlier, we didn't even go down that branch because it didn't find the
yeah, so we definitely have something wrong logic here, but I'd like to at least see something created at all.
That's true.
Before we wrap up. So let's grab our incident again and see if we don't create something bad this time. At least the live profile shouldn't be bad. Run test. The flow was executed. We looked up the 2 records. We went down to this branch. And hopefully this entry, oh, look, it pointed at Troy appropriately. And hopefully the group as well. We just didn't set a group name, which we should do that. But it said a group. It's just not got a name in it. So if we open this, there should be a subscriber and me. Look at that. That's pretty great.
Nice.
So we've subscribed Troy to that record. Why are there 2 people there if it went down our negative branch? If my record is there, did I just label it wrong? Is the document ID the same as the sysid? This should be the yes, and it should have been. Did we? What am I doing? We have all the debugging available to us right here. So we looked up his live profile, and then in this one, this is where this thing started to go off the rails. So there is a result, it looks like. This is the live group profile.
It's the blank one you made earlier.
But it's there. It exists.
Yeah. How come it didn't go down that?
So my expectation is that it should pass this check because this runtime value should be, I mean, the document ID here for this should be the same as the record's sysid. Mm-hmm. So this document ID here, 71C1, is what
that's the one I remember
compared to 71C1.
Yeah.
So why did we fail that check? Starting to get a lot of windows. So if my record's there and it's checking to see if that is equal to the, I mean, look at this runtime value and tell me how we failed this.
It looks the same to me.
So I'm struggling with this because thankfully the debugger here, I mean this flow execution details window shows us all of this wonderful information, puts it right at our fingertips. and I'm still confused with this part because is this the same as that? Yes, it is, sir. Please, can I go down the true path? I would like this to say evaluated true, not false. That would be really great. Because maybe
It says is.
maybe contains. I mean, that would be really obnoxious if it was. I mean, it is like those are the same. It really is the same. So we're close. We're actually really close here. We are at a good stopping point. But
you created something.
We created something. We found the right tables we need to put things in. We've got a not quite working flow here, but we're close. Like this is actually if we fix this if conditional, I feel like this is done from this part of it, right?
Right.
Close enough for government work.
It is about close enough for government work here. So I'm gonna have to. This bothering me that right here in
it tells you right there.
Right here it says, right, because it even shows you the runtime value of the evaluation, and it really should be like those. They're both strings. Are they the same?
Because it needs 2 equal signs.
No. So we're really close here. All right, so I'm going to stop the share. Not new share. I'm going to stop share. We'll turn our video back on. Hey, right. And so that was really, we got pretty close there, and we're going to be able to deliver that relatively soon. Mm-hmm. And we learned a lot about how to go and look at, find the right tables that we need to store things in. And build. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to build most everything I needed in Flow Designer today, but we did, and that was promising. And MGOP's moving the world over there, and so that was close. Bothered by that runtime evaluation, but thankfully it actually showed us, all of the context we needed to do that right there.
Mm-hmm. One of the best things about Flow Designer.
It is really changed how I go about building things like business rules and scheduled jobs, because it just makes it so easy to instead of opening up a bunch of tabs and having the tables open and refreshing them, I can just click on them in the execution. So
you even caught yourself a couple times.
Yeah, I was like, I'm used to just refreshing the list and having them all open and ready. And I was like, wait, why am I doing that? There's a better way. So let's go around the horn, same as original order. And let's start with rating our Fanta today. How is it?
I finished it. I'm going to go with a solid 4.5. I love Fanta.
A 4.5. Wow, that's an impressive Fanta.
Only bested by pineapple Fanta.
Ooh, I've never tried that. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 4.75.
Yeah, it's close. Getting close to that 5.
That's good. All right. So how is your beverage of choice today?
Peach.
Son of a peach.
Son of a peach is only 5.8%, but I have to catch myself pacing myself halfway through the stream. So I give it a 15 out of 14.
No, you got to do out of 5. Out of 5.
5 out of 5.
No.
Oh.
No, I can't give it a 5 out of 5. I love it.
There would be no other choices for you ever again.
It tastes just like peaches.
All right. So a really high rating for Son of a Peach today. It won on many fronts, not just taste. My Old Speckled Hen, my English fine ale that I am having today was was pretty good. Like I don't think I've had this one before, and I'm gonna go with a solid 4 today.
Oh wow, that's pretty good.
It's good.
I'm actually really glad I didn't grab that one either, because I saw it and I thought the title was hilarious.
Oh, you have one of these?
Yeah, it's like in the fridge.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So that wraps us up for this week. Next week, we're probably not going to do a show because both Dave and I will be in London. And unless we just find rock solid internet and time and space to do it, we'll probably take another week off. We will have blog posts next week at developer.servicenow.com. Today was Share Day Friday. So we've been doing spotlights for the share. And
October.
then the blog post for next week is going to be on my first share item. So today's share item was add to up-to-date set utility. And my blog post for next week is walking through taking that share item, modifying it. And I've already communicated with the owner and they were like, well, just repost it as a new share instead of incorporating it themselves. So that's what I'm going to walk through. And that should go out Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Nice.
And as always, have a most wonderful weekend. And we'll look to see you back in 2 weeks, everyone.
Have a good weekend.